Good morning, children. Today we are going to see History Chapter 5, When People Rebel, 1857 and After. Okay? See, children. Now we are going to see about the East India Company's policies and the people. See, children, in the previous chapters we have discussed about the policies of the East India Company, right? For example, we can tell doctrine of lapse and the subsidiary alliances, and for land revenue they imposed Mahalwari system, Raitwari system, isn't it? See, in order to strengthen their power, many policies were imposed by the East India companies, right? Because of these policies, the people suffered a lot. In fact, common people, along with that, kings, queens, peasants, landlords, tribals, soldiers also were affected in different ways. Okay, so we will see about this in detailed manner. Got it? See, children, now we are going to see how Nawabs lost their power. See, children, since the mid 18th century, Nawabs and Rajas had seen their power erode. Erode means gradually destroyed. See, gradually they lost their power. How? Because the company appointed residents. So, residents only will decide who will come to the power, who will come to the throne, isn't it? And so that gradually Nawabs and Rajas lost their power. And also, many ruling families tried to negotiate with the company to protect their interests. For example, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi wanted the company to recognize her adopted son as the legal heir to the kingdom after the death of her husband, because the company introduced doctrine of lapse, right? According to the doctrine of lapse, whoever died without male heir, after his death, the king's death, the kingdom would be annexed by the company, isn't it? So, but Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai adopted a male child, but so he negotiated with the company to recognize as the adopted son her legal heir. So, in this way, but finally, the East India Company didn't accept her adopted son as a legal heir. Okay, and also one more example we can say Nana Sahib, the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II, requested the company be given his father's pension, but that also denied by the company. However, the company, confident of its superiority and military powers, turned down, because already they knew very well they have the military power, and almost all over the subcontinent they established their power, right? So they were so confident and they executed so many policies, and also Awadh was one of the last territories to be annexed in 1801. A subsidiary alliance was imposed. See, children, due to this subsidiary alliance, what happened? See, the company will give protection. For that, the kingdom should pay for that for the company. In case if they fail to pay, what will happen? The half of the portion will be taken by the company. In this way, in the year 1856, Awadh was completely taken over. For that, they justified how. During that time, the Governor General of India was Lord Dalhousie. He declared that that territory was being misgoverned. So, in order to ensure proper administration, British rule was needed. Like that, who told? Lord Dalhousie, during the period Governor General of India. Okay. In this way, Nawabs and Rajas and queens also suffered, isn't it? And also, the company wanted to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. See children, already we knew very well who was the last powerful ruler of the Mughal dynasty? Aurangzeb. But who was the last ruler of the Mughal dynasty? Bahadur Shah Zafar, isn't it? Yes, Bahadur Shah Zafar was the last ruler of the Mughal dynasty. Got it? Then actually the company began to plan how to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. For that, what did they do? They stopped minting coins by the name of Mughal king. Okay. See children, in 1849, Governor General Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king would be shifted out of the Red Fort and given another place in Delhi to reside in, because that king, king and his family used to reside in Red Fort. So that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, what they planned? They wanted to make the move from the Red Fort to another place. They were ready to give another place to reside in Delhi. So in 1856, Governor General Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king, and after his death, none of his descendants would be recognized as kings. They would just be called princes. That's it. See, Canning என்ன சொல்றாரு? அவர் பகதூர் ஷா ஜாஃபர் இறந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் அவருடைய டிசெண்டன்ஸ், அவருடைய வாரிசு யாருமே கிங்கா ரெகக்னைஸ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். அவங்க ஜஸ்ட் பி கால்ட் பிரின்சஸ். ஓகே. In this way, the company planned to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. Got it? Now we are going to see about the peasants and the sipais. You know children, in the countryside, peasants and zamindars resented high taxes and the rigid methods of revenue collection. So they were forced to pay their taxes. In fact, they followed rigid methods to collect taxes. See, in case if they fail to pay back their loans to the money lenders, and what happened? Gradually they lost their lands. Okay, in fact they had tilted for generation. ரொம்ப generation அந்த land அவங்க கல்டிவேட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிற land அவங்க they will lose. So in this way peasants were suffering a lot. Okay. Now let me tell you about the sipais. Sipais means soldiers, isn't it? Yes. Here the Indian sipais were forced to join that company's army, and also they were unhappy about their pay, allowances and conditions of service. If they want to service, if they want to join that army, the company had some policies and conditions, but it affected their sipais customs and religious beliefs. In fact, in those days, many people in the country believed that if they crossed the sea, they would lose their religion and caste. So when in 1824 the sipais were told to go to Burma by the sea route to fight for the company, the sipais refused to follow the order. Though they agreed to go by the land route, they refused to go by the sea route. In fact, they were severely punished, and since the issue did not die down, in 1856 the company passed a new law which stated that every new person who took up employment in the company's army had to agree to serve overseas if required. ஆக்சுவலி அந்த காலத்தில் ஒரு பிலீஃப் இருந்தது, யார் ஒருத்தர் வந்துட்டு சீயை க்ராஸ் பண்ணி போகிறாங்களோ அவங்க அவங்களுடைய ஓன் ரிலிஜியனை கேஸ்ட் எல்லாத்தையும் லூஸ் பண்ணிடுவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ தட் சிப்பாய்ஸ் எல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணாங்க, ரெஃப்யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. இன்ஃபேக்ட் த கம்பெனி என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, பர்மாலெல்லாம் நீங்கள் ஃபைட் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லி அனுப்புகிறப்போ நாங்கள் வேணால் லேண்ட் ரூட்டில் போய்க்கலாம், சி ரூட்டில் போக மாட்டோம்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. பட் த கம்பெனி டிடன்ட் அக்செப்ட். in 1856 இன்ஃபேக்ட் நியூ ரூல் வேறு பாஸ் பண்ணாங்க. அதுபடி யாரெல்லாம் ஜாயின் பண்ணுறாங்களோ ஆர்மியில், தே ஷுட் accept the company's conditions அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. இன்ஃபேக்ட் if company requires the சிப்பாய்ஸ் should serve in the overseas also அப்படிங்கிறது தான் அவங்களோட பாலிசியாக இருந்தது. பட் சிப்பாய்ஸ் ஆல்சோ reacted to what was happening in the countryside. ஆக்சுவலி கண்ட்ரி சைட்லேருந்து தான் நிறைய சிப்பாய்ஸ் ஃபார் சர்வைவல் ஆஃப் ஃபிட்டஸ்ட் என்ன பண்ணாங்க, கண்ட்ரி சைட்லேருந்து நிறைய வில்லேஜ் சைட்லேருந்து நிறைய பேர் கம்பெனியோடைய ஆர்மியில் ஜாயின் பண்ணாங்க. அவங்களுக்கு இந்த பெசன்ஸோட சிச்சுவேஷன்ஸ், how they collected taxes from their parents, everything they came to know. In fact, they got so angry. So in this way, peasants and sepoys also got angry on company's policies, isn't it? Yes. So in which year the company passed a new law which stated that every new person who took up employment in the company's army had to agree to serve overseas if required in the year 1856. Got it? Children, now we will see about responses to reforms. In fact, we knew very well the British brought so many reforms, especially in social customs, social practices and all, right? Actually, the British believed that Indian society had to be reformed because Indian society la neriya what is the superstitious beliefs and neriya social customs எல்லாம் ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறத ரிஃபார்ம் கொண்டு வந்தாகணும், ஒரு சேஞ்சஸ் கொண்டு வந்தாகணும்னு who believed that? The British believed, okay? So that laws were passed to stop the practice of sati and to encourage the remarriage of widows. You know the meaning of sati, you know. Actually, if a husband dies, even wife also will jump into his funeral fire. அவருடைய ஃபைனல் ரைட்ஸ் அந்த funeral fireல அவங்க வைஃபும் she used to force to jump into that fire. So that custom was followed in that time. It was called sati, and Britishers thought that it is uncivilized customs. So they passed laws to stop the practice of sati and to encourage the remarriage of widows. And then English language education was actively promoted after 1830. So they started to promote English language education. For that, the company allowed many Christian missionaries to function freely and its domain and even owned land and property. So they gave permission to the Christian missionaries and to form to establish their institutions in order to promote English language. Got it? So in 1850 a new law was passed to make conversion to Christianity easier. So in which year a new law was passed to make conversion to Christianity easier? In 1850. Okay, so this law allowed an Indian who had converted to Christianity to inherit the property of his ancestors. So even அவங்க கிறிஸ்டியானிட்டிக்கு மாறினாலும் அவங்களுடைய பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு உள்ள ப்ராப்பர்ட்டியை இவங்களுக்கு இன்ஹெரிட் பண்ணுறதுக்கான சான்சஸ் உண்டு, அந்த ரைட்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ many Indians began to feel that the British were destroying their religion, their social customs and their traditional way of life. So many Indians began to feel that these reforms were destroying their religion and their social customs and their beliefs and their traditional way of life. So there were of course other Indians who wanted to change existing social practices. They welcomed the reforms because they thought that these existing social practices should be changed, because due to this women were suffering a lot, isn't it? Yes. Now we will see through the eyes of the people. It means how people viewed the company's rule, because they got everywhere they were suffering. So they were unhappy about the East India Company's policies and their rules and regulations. So generally we used to say anti-incumbency, அதாவது ஆளுகின்ற அரசின் மேலே எதிர்ப்பு அலை மக்களிடையே ரொம்ப எதிர்ப்பு அதிகமாக இருந்தது. ஸோ த்ரூ த ஐஸ் ஆஃப் த பீப்புள் தே hated the rule of British. They hated the East India Company's rule. Got it? Children, now we are going to see how a mutiny becomes a popular rebellion. See children, here you should understand the meaning of mutiny and rebellion. See children, mutiny means nothing but when soldiers as a group disobey their officers in the army. ஆர்மியில் ஒரு group of soldiers அவங்களோட higher officers சொல்கிறத கேட்காம எகெயின்ஸ்டாக பண்ணாங்கன்னா that is called mutiny. and rebellion அப்படின்னா தமிழில் புரட்சின்னு சொல்லுவோம்ல, அதுதான். ஸோ a mutiny, how a mutiny becomes a popular rebellion, we will see that. Okay, see children, in the northern parts of India in the year 1857, hundreds of people, in fact after 100 years of conquest and administration, the English East India Company faced a massive rebellion that started in May 1857, and it threatened the company's presence in India. You know, after 100 years, people thought that their common, whether they belong to Hindu or Muslim or Christianity, no, that not an issue, but they thought that their common enemy was British. So such a situation developed in the northern parts of India in 1857. So in the May 1857, a massive rebellion broke out. See children, I told you already, here people thought that their common enemy was British, isn't it? Yes. And this rebellion in the year May 1857, this massive rebellion shook the British company's rule. In fact, they never expected this kind of situation, because they thought that they have military power and they can't suppress the people. But on the contrary, in the year 1857, a massive rebellion broke out. Okay, very first, Sipais mutinied in several places, beginning from Meerut, and a large number of people from different sections of society rose up in rebellion. அதாவது இனிஷியலி சிப்பாய்ஸ் அதான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, பட் மீரட்டில் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகுது. அது எங்கே லார்ஜ் நம்பர் ஆஃப் பீப்புள் ஃப்ரம் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் செக்ஷன்ஸ் ஆஃப் சொசைட்டி, வெவ்வேறு சொசைட்டியிலேருந்து பீப்புள் வராங்க இந்த ரெபெல்லியனில், இந்த புரட்சியில் கலந்துக்கிறதுக்காக வேண்டி. Some regard it as the biggest armed resistance to colonialism in the 19th century anywhere in the world. வேர்ல்டில் இது வரைக்கும் எங்கேயும் நடக்காத அளவுக்கான ஒரு மேசிவ் ரெபெல்லியன் நம்ம இந்தியாவில் நடந்தது இந்த இயர் 1857. ஓகே, now let me explain the outbreak of the revolt. See children, how rebellion spread from Meerut to other places. Okay, especially from Meerut to Delhi, then Kanpur, Lucknow, Faizabad, other places. First, let us see about Mangal Pandey. See children, on 29th March 1857, Mangal Pandey, a Sipai, what is that? What did he do? You know, he attacked his officers in Barakpur regiment. So he was caught, and on 8th April he was hanged, executed. அவர் வந்துட்டு கேப்சர் பண்ணி அவரை வந்து எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அதனால் என்னாச்சு, there also Sipai started to rebel. Okay, a month later his execution, some Sipais in Meerut refused to use the new rifle. You know children, that time in order to strengthen the company's army, the company introduced new Enfield rifle. In fact, in the cartridges were greased with pig and cow's fat. In fact, the cartridges used to bitten off before use. அதாவது வாயில் கடிச்சு இழுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் அதை யூஸ் பண்ணோம். But Hindus and Muslim sepoys were alarmed because they believed that the grease was made from the fat of cows and pigs, you know. So yeah, they thought that it violates their religious beliefs, so that they refused to use the new cartridges. They refused to use the new rifle which was introduced by the East India Company. Okay, so this news spread like wildfire. In some places, sepoys refused to use the cartridges. So this was the immediate cause for the outbreak of the revolt. Okay. So, some sepoys of Meerut regiment were arrested, and nearly 85 sepoys were dismissed from service, and in fact sentenced to 10 years in jail for disobeying their officers. So this happened on 9th May 1857. Actually, the response of the other Indian soldiers in Meerut was quite extraordinary. Actually, on 10th May, the soldiers marched to the jail in Meerut and released the imprisoned sepoys, their colleagues. They attacked and killed British officers. In fact, they captured guns and ammunition and set fire to the buildings and the properties of the British and declared war on the Firangis. Here, children, Firangis denotes English people only. Okay. ஸோ என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, போய் இம்ப்ரிசன் பண்ண மீரட்டில் இருக்கிற ஜெயிலில் இருக்கிறவங்கள எல்லாத்தையும் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணிவிட்டு அங்கே இருக்கிற வெப்பன்ஸ் எல்லாம் இவங்க கேப்சர் பண்ணிவிட்டு தென் பில்டிங்ஸ்க்கெல்லாம் ஃபயர் வச்சு விட்டுட்டு ஸோ ரிவோல்ட் ப்ரோக் அவுட். ஸோ த சோல்ஜர்ஸ் வேர் டிட்டர்மின்ட் டு பிரிங் அன் எண்ட் டு the company's rule in the country. So what was their main aim? They wanted to bring the company's rule and end. Okay, so they wanted to meet the last Mughal ruler Bahadur Shah Zafar, because they wanted to declare Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. So the sepoys of Meerut rode all night of 10th May to reach Delhi in the early hours of next morning. So 10th அன்னைக்கு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி next day 11th early morning Delhi அவங்க ரீச் பண்ணுறாங்க. Actually, as news of their arrival spread, இந்த மாதிரி இந்த ரெஜிமெண்ட் மீரட் ரெஜிமெண்ட்லேருந்து இந்த மாதிரி சோல்ஜர்ஸ் சிப்பாய்ஸ் எல்லாம் வராங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னதுக்கப்புறம் டெல்லி ரெஜிமெண்ட் ஆல்சோ ஜாயின் வித் தெம் அகெயின்ட் பிரிட்டிஷ் ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ். They also killed, the British officers were killed by the rebellion, and arms and ammunition also seized. As usual, buildings set on fire. Okay, and in fact, the triumphant soldiers on the way, வெற்றியோடு இருக்கிற அந்த soldiers gathered around the walls of the Red Fort where the Bahadur Shah Zafar lived. Okay, then they started to demand to meet Bahadur Shah Zafar, and finally they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. Okay, so children, where did the revolt start? The 1857 revolt started from Meerut. Got it? Then the revolt in Delhi was led by General Buck Khan. Okay, it soon spread to other centers like Kanpur, Lucknow, Jhansi and Bareilly. Actually, after the British were routed from Delhi, there was no uprising for a few days. Then a spurt of mutiny began. Spurt means speed. See, regiment after regiment mutinied, and it took off to join other troops at nodal points like Delhi, Kanpur and Lucknow. See, nodal point means center points. After them, the people of the towns and villages also came and joined in that rebellion and rallied around local leaders, zamindars and chiefs who were prepared to fight the British. Thus, a widespread revolt shook the British confidence over ruling the India. இதுவரைக்கும் அவங்க எதுக்குமே பயப்படாதவங்க இந்த மேசிவ் ரெபல்லியன் அவங்களுடைய பேஸ்மெண்ட்டையே ஷேக் பண்ணிடுச்சு. அடிமட்டத்தையே அசைய வச்சிருச்சு இந்த மேசிவ் ரெபல்லியன் அப்படின்னு கூட சொல்லலாம். ஸோ in this rebel, Nana Sahib of Kanpur, Birjis Khudir of Lucknow, and his mother Begum Hazrat Mahal, then Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai, took as an active part in organizing the uprising against the British. In fact, Rani Avantibai Lodi of Ramghar raised and led the army against the British, who had taken over the administration of her state. Okay, children, Ramghar is a place located in Madhya Pradesh, Mandya region of Madhya Pradesh. So Rani Avantibai Lodi of Ramghar raised and led an army of 4,000 against the British, who had taken over the administration of her state. Okay, so the British were greatly outnumbered by the rebel forces. In fact, they were defeated in a number of battles, isn't it? Yes. And also many new leaders came up. For example, Ahmadullah Shah, a Maulvi from Faizabad. Actually, Maulvi means learned scholar in their religion. So Maulvi from Faizabad. Then who else? Bakht Khan from Bareilly. Okay. Then in Bihar, an old zamindar Kunwar Singh joined the rebel and battled with the British for many months. Okay. So leaders and fighters from across the land joined the fight. Okay. So who were the prominent leaders of this 1857 revolt? We know very well Mangal Pandey, he lost his life in Barakpur. Then Rani Lakshmi Bai from Jhansi. Then Lucknow Begum Hazrat Mahal, right? Then Kanpur Nan Deswa Bajirao, his son, adopted son Nana Sahib, along with Tandya Tope, also took part in this revolt. Then Bareilly, from Bareilly, Bakht Khan, even he is also known as Khan Bahadur Khan. Then from Bihar, Kunwar Singh. Then Kalpi, in fact in Kanpur only, Tandya Tope. And Delhi, Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last ruler of the Mughal dynasty, who took part in this revolt. Got it? Then Ahmad Shah, a Maulvi from Faizabad. Got it? In fact, that Ahmad Shah, a Maulvi from Faizabad, he also joined this revolt. After that, his supporters, a large number of Ghazis or religious warriors came together to wipe out the white people. Got it? Okay, children, who was Nana Sahib? Actually, Nana Sahib, the adopted son of the late Peshwa Bajirao, right, who lived near Kanpur, proclaimed himself Peshwa, and also he declared that he was a governor and under Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. Okay, and who was Tandya Tope? Tandya Tope was the general of Nana Sahib. Got it? Actually, Nana Sahib declared himself as a governor of Kanpur under the Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. So Tandya Tope was his general. Got it? And also don't forget these three women took an active part in organizing the uprising against the British. Who were they? Begum Hazrat Mahal from Lucknow. Then Rani Lakshmi Bai from Jhansi, right? Then Avantibai Lodi from Madhya Pradesh. Ramghar, it is located in Madhya Pradesh. Got it? So these three women actively took part in this 1857 mutiny. Okay. Now we are going to see how the East India Company fights back. Okay. Actually, the company decided to suppress the revolt with all its might. So reinforcements were brought from England, and it passed new laws so that the rebels could be easily convicted. So on 20th September 1857, British forces regained Delhi as Bahadur Shah Zafar II was a weak leader. So initially the rebellion captured Delhi, but on 20th September 1857 again British forces regained Delhi because Bahadur Shah Zafar was a weak leader. Sorry. Okay. So Delhi was recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857. So the last Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was tried in court and sentenced to life imprisonment. In fact, his sons were shot dead before his eyes. You imagine how it was. He and his wife Begum Zinat Mahal were deported and sent to prison in Rangoon, where he died in 1862. So, என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, ரீகேப்சர் டெல்லியை பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் பகதூர் ஷா ஜாஃபரையும் அவங்க ஒய்ஃபையும் ரங்கூனுக்கு மியன்மார்க்கு அனுப்புகிறாங்க. அங்கேயே அவர் 1862 he died. In fact, in front of his eyes only, his sons shot dead. So in this way they suppressed the revolt. In fact, the people, however, continued to resist and battle the British. Actually, the British had to fight for 2 years to suppress the massive forces of popular rebellion in Delhi. Got it? Then Lucknow was taken in March 1858. Then Rani Lakshmibai was defeated and killed in June 1858. A similar way, Rani Awadip Bai, who after initial victory in Heri chose to embrace death when surrounded by the British on all sides. Then Tandya Tope escaped to the jungles of central India and continued to fight a guerrilla war with the support of many tribal and peasant leaders. But he was captured and tried and killed in April 1859. So, இங்கிலாந்துலேருந்து ரீஎன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட் மிலிட்ரி எல்லாம் இந்த ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி கொண்டு வந்து இந்த ரெபெல்லியனை, இந்த சிப்பாய் மியூட்டினியை எப்படியெல்லாம் சப்ரஸ் பண்ணாங்க, லீடர்ஸ் ஹவு தே வேர் கேப்சர்ட் பை தேம் அண்ட் ஹவு தே வேர் கில்ட் பை த ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி. Right? Then in this way, but anyway, they took 2 years to suppress this massive rebellion in Delhi. Okay. Now we will see after the revolt, the result of the revolt. Okay. See children, the revolt of 1857 was called the Sipai Mutiny by the British authorities, while Indian historians call it the first war of independence. Okay. See children, the British had regained control of the country by the end of 1859, but they could not carry on ruling the land with the same policies anymore. So even though they power regained pannalum, they were not able to carry on ruling the land with the same policies. Okay. So important changes that were introduced by the British. What were they? We will see. Okay. Actually, the British Parliament passed a new act in 1858 and transferred the powers of the East India Company to the British Crown in order to ensure a more responsible management of Indian affairs. Okay. So, இதுவரைக்கும் the East India Company full authority வச்சிருந்தாங்க. பட் இந்த மேசிவ் ரிபெல்லியனை பார்த்துட்டு இந்த பிரிட்டிஷ் பார்லிமெண்ட் இனி ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனிக்கிட்டே இந்த பவரை விடக்கூடாது, இது இந்த மாதிரி ஒன் மோர் மேசிவ் ரிபெல்லியனை இனிமேல் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாதுங்கிறதுக்காக வேண்டி வாட் டிட் தே டூ? The British Parliament passed a new act in 1858. According to that act, the power had been changed, transferred from company, the East India Company, to the British Crown. For what purpose? In order to ensure a more responsible management of Indian affairs. Got it? Then the Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy, that is a personal representative of the Crown. So far they were called Governor General. For example, Lord Dalhousie, Lord Wellesley, Lord Canning, Lord Curzon, so many governor generals ruled over here. But after 1857, the revolt of 1857, the Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy. So Viceroy means a personal representative of the crown. So through these measures, the British government accepted direct responsibility for ruling India. So this was the very important changes happened those time, because so far the East India Company had authority, full power, but now on hereafter, what happened? The power transferred from East India Company to the crown. Got it? Then all ruling chiefs of the country were allowed to pass on their kingdoms to their heirs, including adopted sons. However, they were made to acknowledge the British Queen as their sovereign paramount. See, நீங்கள் வந்துட்டு உங்களோட அடாப்டட் சன்னுக்கும் நாங்கள் பெர்மிஷன் தரோம். யூ கேன் கேரி ஆன் யுவர் அடாப்டட் சன் can come to power, but the problem is you should accept as the British crown as their sovereign paramount. Our British queen தான் superiorன்னு we should accept அப்படிங்கிற கண்டிஷன்ஸோட all ruling chiefs of the country were allowed to carry on their kingdoms. Got it? And it was decided that the proportion of Indian soldiers in the army would be reduced and the number of European soldiers would be increased. ஸோ இது வரைக்கும் நிறைய சோல்ஜர்ஸுனுடைய ப்ரொப்போர்ஷன் எப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா, இந்தியன் சோல்ஜர்ஸ் அதிகமாகவும் பிரிட்டிஷ் சோல்ஜர்ஸ் கம்மியாகவும் இருந்தாங்க. இனிமேல் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்க? வாட் தே டிசைடட், the proportion of Indian soldiers in the army would be reduced and the number of European soldiers would be increased. And it was also decided that instead of recruiting soldiers from Awadh, Bihar, Central India and South India, more soldiers would be recruited from among the Gurkhas, Sikhs and Pathans. So instead of recruiting soldiers from Awadh, Bihar, Central India and South India, they preferred Gurkhas from Nepal, then Sikhs from Punjab and also Pathans. Okay. Then and also to win the loyalty of the zamindars, the British recognized their traditional land rights and also gave them honors and titles. Okay. So அவங்களுடைய நம்பிக்கையை பெறணுங்கிறதுக்காக what did they do? அவங்களுடைய ட்ரெடிஷ்னல் லேண்ட் ரைட்ஸ் எல்லாம் அவங்க ரெகனைஸ் பண்ணாங்க அண்ட் ஆல்சோ கேவ் தம் ஹானர்ஸ் அண்ட் டைட்டில்ஸ். ஸோ henceforth the British pursued the policy of divide and rule to prevent the Indians from uniting. So they followed a policy of deliberate discrimination against the Muslim community. Okay, so the land and the property of Muslims was confiscated on a large scale and they were treated with suspicion and hostility. It means confiscated means seize. They the British seized their lands and also they were treated with suspicion and hostility. அவங்கள எப்போவுமே டவுட் பண்ணுறதும் அவங்கள ரொம்ப ரூடாக ட்ரீட் பண்ணுறதுமே இருந்துச்சு. பிகாஸ் the British believed that they were responsible for the rebellion in a big way. Got it? And the British decided not to interfere in the customs, religious beliefs and social practices of the people in India. Okay. Then already I have told you, to make zamindars and landlords as their allies, policies were made to protect them and give them security of rights over their lands. Got it? Thus, a new phase of history began after 1857. See children, although the revolt failed, it marked the beginning of a broader struggle against British rule. Got it? See children, now we are going to mark some places because these are the main centers of the revolt. So first we are going to mark Meerut. Okay, at present Meerut is in UP, Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so you mark the place. What is that? Meerut. Got it. Next, we are going to mark Delhi. You know why we are marking Delhi as a nodal point? Because there only the revolt, that rebellion met Bahadur Shah Zafar, who was the last Mughal emperor. Okay. So, and also in Delhi only Buck Khan was the leader of the rebels. Right. Next, we are going to mark Kanpur. So, Kanpur, immediately we will remember about Nana Sahib Peshwa, right? So, the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao too led the rebels and expelled the British garrison from Kanpur. And also, already I have told you, Nana Sahib declared himself as the Peshwa, right? And recognized Bahadur Shah Zafar was his king, right? And also, here only his commander Tandya Tope joined with him and led the rebel. Next, we are going to mark Bareilly. See, in Bareilly, who was the leader of the revolt? Khan Bahadur Khan. Okay, so you mark the place Bareilly. It is in UP. Got it? Now we are going to mark Lucknow. See children, Lucknow is an important place because here Begum Hazrat Mahal led the rebels against the British. Now we are going to mark the place Jhansi. Here we know very well Rani Lakshmi Bai took up arms against the British, and also she joined with Tandya Tope from Kanpur. Okay, so you mark the place Jhansi. Now we are going to mark the place Faizabad. See here, who was the leader of the revolt? Ahmadullah Shah. Ahmadullah Shah, a Maulvi from Faizabad, led the revolt against the British. Okay, so these are the 6 important nodal points of the Indian Independence War of 1857. Got it? See children, you refer your Atlas book page number 18. In this, the uprising of 1857, it is written. Okay, so you should refer this page and you should practice this map clearly. Got it? Okay children, I hope you all understood this chapter clearly. Yes, thank you.